Welcome to our fourth edition of Wildcat Weekly. We're here to talk all things Kentucky sports.
Thank you for tuning in to College SportsCast. College SportsCast presents Wildcat Weekly.
Welcome in, guys. It's Brad with College SportsCast. I am here with John tonight. We are going to do our first Wildcat Weekly show, just the two of us. What's up, John?
What's up, man?
So it is Tuesday night, September 29th. We are approaching week 6 of college football, and we got a firestorm brewing in Kentucky.
Yeah, it's not great.
So we're going to dive into things here in just a minute, guys, but give me just a minute here. Put up just a couple of things here. If you're on Facebook with us, we appreciate you. We are growing tremendously on Facebook. We appreciate that. Like, share, tell some friends, tell some family about us. We appreciate that. You can also help support us two ways. You can send us stars, and you can also subscribe to our channel for 99 cents a month. So we would appreciate if you could do either one of those. It does help us make a little bit of money to keep making these for you guys. If you are on, you can like and follow our page. We would appreciate that. You can also subscribe for 99 cents a month on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, we're trying to grow that as well. We're approaching 725 on YouTube. So we're trying to grow that as well. We appreciate you. Like and subscribe on YouTube, and we appreciate that. I am going to go ahead, before we get started here, John, I am going to go ahead and put up in the top left corner, you are going to see a QR code. That QR code is for the Real Fresh channel and College Sportscast. That we're doing this together. It is a combined effort. It is a Bet US, a Bet Us link, and they will match your first 3 deposits of 125% if you use that QR code or that link that I have on the screen, and it will help us as well. So I'm going to leave that code up on the screen, or the QR code on the screen, the entire time that we are talking tonight, or at least half of it, and I may switch it up. All right. It does look like we might have a few people on with us already. So let me go back and look. We got Nikki Mays with us saying, hey. Josh Hart has already started his stuff. What's up, Josh? Looks like we got a Dogs fan this week, and yes, the Kentucky Wildcats travels to Athens to play the Georgia Bulldogs on Saturday, so we will talk about that as well. Richard, I'm glad to see you here. We are trying to build, so I'm glad to see you here. And Kentucky does play the Georgia Bulldogs this week, so we will get to that too. But John, I've been pretty busy. I don't have a ton of segments to put up for you guys tonight, but we are going to start with Kentucky football. I have the football up behind us. That is the stadium 2 weeks ago, this past Saturday, after a win against Eastern Michigan. That is the stadium late that night, and that's Kroger Field. But, John, on Saturday night, I want to start by saying this. What is up with this team jumping out to leads and then just looking like they completely lose concentration, discipline, everything else, and just fall apart? I mean, I can't count the amount of times in the last 6, 8 SEC games that Kentucky has jumped out to a lead. 14
Yeah,
nothing,
I mean,
14-7, 10 nothing, 10-3, 10-7. I mean, multiple times.
yeah, they had the 10-7 lead turn into a 21-10 deficit.
They had a 10-7 lead in the second quarter.
Yeah, and then they had another interception that Boley tried to throw to Kendrick Law over the middle. It led him too far. It was a pick six. That whole second quarter, Brad, might have been the single worst quarter of football under Mark Stoops. And that's no exaggeration. Kentucky has not scored 28 points in its last 15 SEC games. The third quarter, I thought they played good defensively. Shane Beamer had that fake punt that came up short, giving the ball at the South Carolina 39, I think. Cats, they just managed to cut a field goal. But what
Look
really
at here, guys. Wildcat Weekly, and we got Dog fans and Gator fans. I'm pretty sure
pisses me off.
I'm pretty sure Bill is a darn Tennessee fan, isn't he?
No, Bill's a Kentucky fan. He's one of my buddies.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, welcome to Wildcat Weekly.
Let's get on topic, Brad. I'm ready to roll here.
Go ahead and fix your thought.
What really upsets me is I think it was late in the fourth quarter. They was down 22 points, okay? And they're running the football.
I mean, to be fair, that's probably the best bet that Kentucky has.
But at some point, you have to change some kind of direction of what you're doing. You cannot continue to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over. Shazai Pete, the whole jumping on the ball, couldn't even catch the ball on the fumble.
I got plenty to say about that.
I mean, there's no excuse in this kind of effort. And I'm going to tell you something. It starts with, the fans are frustrated. You got former players calling things out. The entire game, I thought Seth McGowan was the only bright spot. I really did.
I mean, he was.
And
so
the rest of the offense was combined 120 yards. That's a recipe for disaster, Brad, in the SEC. You're not going to win games with the offense that we got. You're just not.
No, you're not. I've been saying that for 2 or 3 years. This isn't anything new, to be quite honest with you. Got some new people here with us. I think Nikki's kind of helping us with that. I do want to say thank you for that. But, John, so, this team, I knew going into this game, you can't give away turnovers. You sure can't give up defensive touchdowns, which they did on back-to-back plays in the second quarter, by the way. And when you do get down, John, this team's not built. They can't just drop back and throw the ball all over the field. They can't do it. This team is never going to be able to do it. Not with Bush Hamden. It's just not going to happen.
No.
I mean, the only hope they had was to be able to run the ball. But here's my issue with running the ball. In the first quarter, Seth McGowan had 10 carries and 70 yards. Kentucky was ahead 10-7. The rest of the night, he only had like 8 carries. Where did he go? What are you doing? You're talking about they were running the ball. They sure as shit wasn't running the ball with the right guy. I can tell you that. What are you doing? Why Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken, Kentucky was ahead 10-7 at the end of the first quarter. They gave Seth McGowan 10 carries, had 70 yards, a touchdown. And after that, he pretty much didn't get a smell of hardly anything. I don't understand. I really don't understand why you go away from your best offensive threat in a game on the road that you get down quickly in. Maybe, I don't know, maybe, just maybe, you want to try to put the ball in your best hands players after that. Put the ball in his hands. I mean, just maybe. I don't know. I'm not a genius. I'll never say that I'm a genius, but that makes perfect sense to me. I don't know why the hell you'd want to go away from him.
Well, and another thing that gets me is the whole Mark Stoops talk after the ball game. Well, we got to get better. We got to do this. We got to get back to work. It's been the same old stuff, Brad, since he's been there. We got to get to work. Got to clean things up. Got to do this. Got to do that. Why don't you do it is my question.
Well, I'll tell you the same thing I've told you for a couple of years. I don't know what you expect a man to say. He's not going out there and fumbling the ball. He's not going out there when the ball is fumbled and it is literally right beside your leg and there's nobody else around. And you jump on the grass, completely miss the ball, and look like you're trying to find a 4-leaf clover. I don't get it. It's the most embarrassing thing. Everybody wants to talk about the embarrassing side of it. If I'm the big offensive lineman, his last name is Pete. I don't even know how to pronounce his first name. If I'm that dude, I'm embarrassed as hell. Because if you can't jump on that football when nobody else is around, was he searching for a quarter? What was he doing out there on the field?
You know, the one thing that bothers me, Brad, and I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. You got guys like Liam Cohen, Shannon Dawson, offensive coordinators. They go other places and they succeed, but they can't do shit in Lexington.
Well, Cohen did pretty good the first stint. The second stint, he was terrible.
Was decent, yes. But
the second stint was terrible.
It was not great. But why is these offensive coordinators going all over the place and having all this success, and then they can't have success in Lexington? Like, somewhere it all ends and starts with Mark Stoops. I'm going to be blunt, Brad. Me and you talked about this Saturday night. The buyout is absolutely ridiculous. In the fan base, I know what the fan base are wanting. They're wanting him to leave. They're wanting him to walk out. But here's the thing. As divided as it is, we talk about the offense quite a bit, but what's happened to the defense? The defense used to be the one thing that usually kept us afloat. Like,
let's be honest, John. The defense is behind the 8 ball constantly because the offense can do nothing with the ball. They're on the field and defending all the time, and the offense does nothing with the ball. Do you know in the second half they had less than 50 yards? was like 47, 49 yards. They had less than 50 yards of offense the entire second half.
I'm going to tell you something that really is a big problem too. You know, the lack of pass rush. They have only 7 sacks all year. South Carolina had 6 and 1 tonight. We used to have the whole bend but don't break mentality. That's far gone. They're running and passing the ball at will against us with little disruption on the front, on the defensive front. You know, Brad White last year, I think he was considered a big coaching guy on the rise. He was linked to Florida State, and now he's kind of in a decline, kind of. But the biggest issue is Bush Hamden's primary problem. This defense can be fixed, but if the offense does not get fixed, this season's going to go from horrible to really ugly, really quick. And I don't know who's more delusional. You know, Bush Hamda or the offense, or just the offense in general. Like, you know, I get so upset. Kentucky has lost 14 of his last 16 SEC games, Brad, including 7 straight.
Yep.
It's been a full calendar year, Brad, since the Wildcats' last conference win.
Yep. 100%.
That's pathetic.
It's beyond pathetic, to be honest with you. And
I'm not saying
and
Kentucky.
I get it. I get why everybody. Here's my thing, guys.
I'm not saying Kentucky is a football school, but you should be better than that. Like, you look at these schools right now, Indiana. Look what Kirk Cignetti's doing. And I get it. Everybody's going to say, well, he's in the Big Ten. But he went to Indiana, and he changed the culture, changed the program. Look at Clark Lee and Vanderbilt. He's got them 5-0.
Yeah, but you know, and I know, if Kirk Cignetti goes to Mississippi State in the SEC, okay, he's not going 12-0 in the SEC.
No, he's not. I agree with that. But
he's not going 12-0 in the SEC like he did. I'm saying like he did at Indiana is what I'm saying.
But my question is, Brad, you got to have a mixture of a little bit of everything. You got to have some offense. Bring in an offensive-minded guy that can, you know, swing the football around a little bit, get the fans excited.
He did with Liam Cohen, and he brought him back thinking he would bring the same thing. And when he brought Cohen back, he told him that he wanted him to stay multiple years, and Cohen told him he would. To be fair. So some of it is not completely Stoops' fault. He was lied to. He was misled. Actually, Cohen did that to him twice. Not once, but twice.
But my how do I say this? My kickback to that is, and we talked about this earlier today. You said, well, we enjoyed those successes early on with Stoops. And we did, yes. But we beat a lot of teams in their down years. You look at Florida. They was in a down year when we beat them. We beat Missouri when they was in a down year. We beat Tennessee one year, I think, with when they had Coach Pruitt. Then
if you're saying to get rid of Hamden now and fill his spot with Eddie Gran for the rest of this season, I 100% am on board for that. Now, if you're saying give him the full-time job or the head coach job or whatever, but if you're saying to fill the rest of this season, I would 1,000% take Eddie Gran over what we have. It's not even close. It's not even close. Here's my thing, okay? And we can move on after, a little bit of discussion here. But for me, it's this. And we talked about this earlier today or yesterday. The buyout is like 38 or $39 million. That's more than Calipari's was. They were not going to fire Calipari. They were going to welcome him back after losing again. St. Peter's and Oakland. They were going to welcome him back to our legendary historic basketball program. Over 33 million. They would owe Stoops more, and it has to be paid in full in 60 days.
You want to know a crazy stat? A crazy stat? Joker Phipps coached Kentucky for 37 games, okay? You want to know what his record was?
Terrible. Whatever it was.
13-24, right? And his SEC record was 4-20, okay?
Yeah.
Guess what Stoops is?
Well, he's 2-14 in the last 16.
Well, just the last 37 games, guess what his record is?
I don't know. Without looking it up, I have no idea.
He has 3 more wins than Joker.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds about right over the last 3 years.
And 4-20, Joker was at UK last 37 games, and Stoops is 6-18. I'm not saying, and I'm going to kick back to this one more time, and we'll move on to something else. But you look at Mississippi State. Jeff Lebby has changed that culture. You look at Indiana. Kurt Signetti has changed that culture. You look at Vandy. Clark Lee has changed that culture. You look at Tulane. John Sumrall has changed that culture. Heck, we can go on down to SMU. Rhett Lashley. It just feels like, Stoops has been here, 13 years?
Listen, exactly what I told you today, John. To be fair, from 2016 to the first 2 SEC wins of 2023, just 2 seasons ago, Stoops done the same thing at Kentucky. Over that period, from 2016 to the first 2 SEC wins of 2023, Mark Stoops was 27-25 in the SEC at Kentucky. Over 500.
Yes, but over time.
No. Wait a second. I don't want no buts. There's no buts to that at all. That is what it is. And he went 5-3 2 times in the SEC. Nobody's done that. He also won 10 ball games twice, 2 New Year's Day Citrus Bowls. So what I'm telling you, John, is that Mark Stoops has already done all that. What you just said that these other programs are doing, Mark Stoops has already done it at Kentucky. Here's the problem. He's been here 13 years, and it looks like you can't keep going back to the same well. You can't keep going back to the same well. Sooner or later, the well runs dry. And what I'm afraid has happened is that the well is running dry.
That's what I was going to say.
There's
he's been here for so long, it's just gotten dry.
There's so many things that have changed over the last 2, 3, 4 years in college sports. NIL, transfer portal year after year after year, jumping around everywhere. Now you got revenue sharing. You've got new roster limits. Here's another thing that I think is hurting, especially a place like Kentucky. Do you know with this new NCAA house settlement, do you know that the rule now is 105 scholarship players? Do you know that the SEC is not letting their members have 105 scholarship members this year? Do you know that the SEC is limiting that to 85, which was the old number? And that the SEC is only allowed to have 85 members, and everybody else outside of the SEC can have 105 scholarships this year? I think that hurts. I think that hurts a program like Kentucky.
It's not hurting Vanderbilt. They're on the field.
It will. When Diego Pavia is not there, if he doesn't sue the NCAA and get a, I don't know, 6th, 7th, 8th, 12th year, I don't know what the hell he's on. But if he doesn't do that and get an extra year, Vandy ain't shit. Let's be honest.
They're enjoying success right now, though, and we're sitting in the middle of the
They would be pitiful if it wasn't for Diego Pavia.
That's what I'm saying. We can't never get a quarterback. We don't know how to run an offense. At some point, it boils down to the coaches, and
Listen, Kentucky fans, here's the deal. I'm going to be honest. You got to quit dreaming about all these. John Gruden is not coming to Kentucky. You want to know why? I'll tell you why. Because there's going to be Florida openings. There's going to be Arkansas openings. There's Oklahoma State openings. He does want SEC. And if Kentucky was the only offer, he might take it. I just don't believe that's going to happen. And here's my thing. All Kentucky fans are going to say John Summerall. Listen, I love John Summerall. He's doing really good at Tulane. However, with a good Tulane team that he goes out and handpicks quarterbacks for, he gets smoked at Oxford. I hate to tell you guys, but we won at Oxford last year and played with them pretty well this year. I hate to tell you guys, but we didn't get smoked by Ole Miss. And we haven't. Go look at the last 5, 6, 7 scores. That's not going to happen. I mean, the biggest problem with Kentucky searching for a new coach is who you're going to get that's proven. Who you going to get that's proven at a Power 4 conference? Can you get a Matt Campbell? If you can, then maybe it's worth it. What's Arizona State's coach's name? Is it Dillingham?
Yeah.
Can you get him, who just won a Big 12 title? Can you get him to the SEC? Entice him to come because we're in the SEC? We're paying Mark Stoops $9 million. I guarantee you he's not making $9 million at Arizona State. I guarantee you he's not.
No.
Can you go out and attract them kind of guys? Because if you can, then maybe it's worth it. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to do the exact same thing to Mark Stoops that they did to John Calipari. I think they're going to tell him and make him completely revamp his staff. Calipari didn't want to fire his buddies. So you know what he did? Behind closed doors, he snuck off to Arkansas. And I think instead of paying him $33 million, which was his buyout, I think that's exactly what they're going to do to Stoops. They're going to tell him, you got to clean house. We're not going to put up with this. If you want to stay, you got to clean house.
That means Brad White's gone.
Mike Stoops is gone.
Stoops is gone. Off Bush Hamden's gone. The whole defensive side of the ball is gone.
Line coach, the one that he brought back, Wolford or whatever his name is.
Yeah, he's gone. You're going to have to start from scratch and get actual coaches in there that know what they're doing and know how to run a defense and know how to run an offense and can put an offense together. And for the love of God, please recruit a quarterback.
It's not even about – listen, Bowley's got talent.
I'm not saying Bowley.
Cutter's got talent. Zach Calzada's got talent. He beat Alabama when he was a freshman.
Well, then why is it?
The problem's not the quarterbacks, man. It's never been the quarterbacks. That's not the problem. It's the system. It's the play calling. I was watching football on Saturday because Kentucky was a late game. And every game I watched, every single game I watched, every single team was running inside slants. Every team. Watch Kentucky football and tell me if you see an inside slant. It's not there. It's not even in their repertoire at all. I'm not even sure that they even know what it is. Every single team, Vandy, Texas A&M, Auburn, LSU, Ole Miss. Hell, early in the day, I was watching some Big Ten teams. Every single team was running inside slants. Also, every single team was running just little 5-yard dump offs to tight ends. Hello? Over the middle, fake it, look long, dump it down low. Like, hello? I mean, it's not the quarterbacks. Will Levis had talent.
Yeah, I know, Brock. They threw a lot of slants to Dane last year.
Devin Leary had talent. Brock Vandegrift had talent. You got to put a quarterback in the right system. And unfortunately, I don't think the only person that ever did it was Liam Cohen with Will Levis. $2021.
Wasn't that the year that we beat LSU and was 6-0 and we was doing really good and had some hiccups down the stretch, but we had a good team that year. Had offense, can move the football. He brings up a good point. They threw a lot of slants to Dane and Berrien last year. Like, why aren't you doing that again this year? Like, what? Like, it's the same offensive coordinator.
I mean, it's invisible. I mean, they're just gone. Like, they run. Look, I swear to y'all, when you watch Kentucky play football and watch the offense, it's almost like they run the same 8 or 10 plays. over and over and over. They run the same 2 to 3, 4 maybe running plays half the damn game.
To be fair, John, he said the biggest problem for Kentucky this season, their wide receiving core is awful. Can't get open, so that's causing the quarterback to hold on to the ball, causing sacks. To be fair, Kendrick Law's a good wide receiver. Macklin's pretty good. Beyond those two, I couldn't tell. I mean, why ain't they playing?
Pretty good.
Why ain't they playing the freshman, DJ?
I don't know.
Why isn't the kid from Boyle County playing? Is it Quisenberry?
Quisenberry, yeah. Yeah.
Why isn't he playing? Why isn't certain guys playing out here if these other receivers are not doing their job? That's like a couple of weeks ago. It was a game against I think it might have been Ole Miss. There was a play where Ty Bryant made a huge play and they just jerked him out of the game. Like, why are you not got your best players in the game?
Tim, if that's to me about running the same plays over and over and over, I'm telling you right now, that's part of the biggest reason why the passing game goes nowhere most of the time, because they run the same routes. They have like 2 routes each. They run the same routes, and 2 or 3 different routes at max. And
let me give you an example.
Cover that shit. This is the SEC.
Another thing that kind of got my attention was watching Indiana play offense. It's night and day compared to Kentucky.
Yeah.
They opened
that's somebody that actually knows how to run an offense, though, man.
Signetti, yes.
Yeah.
Then why can't we have that here is the question. That's my biggest question.
I don't know why we can't get an offense. Like, honestly, it blows my mind. Now, here's the thing. In Kentucky's past, when they have had an offense, they usually were terrible at defense. Yeah. When they've not had a good offense, they usually are pretty damn good on defense.
You look at the 90 teams with Tim Couch. They had a great offense. The defense couldn't stay off the field. Now, they won a few games with their defense, like the Indiana game where it bounced up in the air.
Even in the early 2000s with like with Guy Morse and stuff. I mean, the defenses were terrible. The offense was good.
Now, Rich Brooks had some good defenses. Wesley Woodyard, Danny Trevathan, there was some good players on those teams. Maybe we need Coach Brooks to come back and give a pep talk.
Coach Brooks is like 90.
Oh, he was a hell of a coach.
No, but I mean, Lord have mercy. He retired. He was like 73 or 4.
Listen, I want to say this.
When he retired.
I love Kentucky football, and this program is dear to my heart. It is. I love this program. I've always wanted to recruit. I always want. Let you answer that real quick, and then I'll get back to what I was going to say.
Kiffin probably makes $10 million at Ole Miss. He's a little bit more than Stoops, I'm pretty sure, and Stoops is 9.1, something like that. He's not leaving Ole Miss to come to Kentucky.
No, he's not. But to go back to what I was saying real quick, and we'll move on. I love this program. I've been watching Kentucky football since I was knee high to a duck. And that's pretty low. Brad knows what knee high to a duck is. That's pretty,
Kentucky football sometimes. They're pretty low too.
But I want to say this. Somebody asked me a question, and I'm just going to say it on here. I don't care. somebody asked me, do you think that we need a reset? And I do. Whether that's
Like I said, man, here's the thing. It looks like Calipari used to scream that 10 years was enough at Kentucky. 10 years was enough. Well, guess what? 10 years was all that he was good for.
mm-hmm,
And I'm talking about John Calipari.
mm-hmm.
All right. Now, you look at Mark Stoops. He's in year 13, and the past 2 or 3 have not been good. Up to 10 years, he was still performing pretty good.
He was. Now, here's where I want to kind of end this. Do I think we need a reset? I do. Whether that's cleaning house, Brad White, Bush Hamda, whatever, or whether people can up with
Or
40
whether it's
million
Mark Stoops, to be honest with you, you got to do it one way or another.
or get rid of Stoops one way or another. And
It has
I'm
to
gonna
be
be
done
honest-
one way or another.
and I'm gonna
You
be honest
cannot
with you.
set. Listen, John, you cannot set on the current staff as is and keep this going. You cannot do that under no circumstance. There has to be either a cleaning of the house from a staff standpoint, or Stoops has got to hit the road one way or another. Force his hand to say he's got to get rid of his staff, and he don't want to get rid of Brad White and Mike Stoops. Maybe he leaves and takes his staff somewhere else.
And
Then
here's
you don't,
another thing.
then you don't have to pay any buyout.
Here's another thing, and I know people's going to think, well, you're being negative. No, I'm being honest. We played Georgia Saturday. And we got a bye week after Georgia, right? Then you come home and you play Texas and Tennessee. It's not going to be good if we have this kind of same production that we had at South Carolina. It's going to be the same stuff. You're going to be upset. You're going to be calling for coaches' heads.
Listen, the next 3 games, what you're talking about, we got the Georgia Bulldogs in Athens. Then we have a bye week. Then we come back and we get Texas. And I believe it's Tennessee, right?
Yeah, it's Tennessee. And then they play, I think, Auburn on the road. And then they play Vanderbilt, I think.
Yeah.
No, they play Tennessee Tech. And then they play Vanderbilt.
Florida's in there somewhere.
In Florida. Here's my other problem I have with this. The fan base. Back in 2012, everybody probably remembers Joker's final season. Vanderbilt, there was hardly anybody there. You're probably going to see that at the end of the year. Tennessee Tech, they might be a few there for Tennessee game. But if this continues to kind of open a sore, so to speak, fans ain't going to go. And
I agree.
And my question is, the Tennessee Tech game, how many do you really think is going to be there on that day? 11,000? 12?
Yeah, but see, here's the deal. That really doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt. You want to know why it don't hurt? Because all those tickets have already been bought. They don't care if they show up or not. Kentucky's already got their money. They don't care if you show up to your already bought tickets.
Mm-mm.
Now, if they don't sell season tickets and they don't have, then that matters. But just not showing up to already bought tickets, John, actually does nothing. That don't do anything. It doesn't even matter.
So now that we've moved on from this, what's your thoughts on the Georgia game before we move on?
Well, I mean, you want to know exactly what I told you earlier. Here's the thing. Stoops always does the exact opposite of what you think the team should do. Like his teams, so you think, oh, well, they're coming off Eastern Michigan. They got the win. They had the bye week. Oh, by the way, another loss after a bye week, to be quite honest with you. If you go back historically and look, he's terrible after bye weeks.
6-11.
Yeah, absolutely terrible after bye weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the deal: you think they're going to come out, they're going to be fired, they're going to want to go to South Carolina and play good, and they go there and look like they are a bunch of lost puppies in the second quarter. Now, you go to Georgia after that, and everybody thinks, wow, they're going to get beat 51-10. I mean, that's what everybody thinks. It would not surprise me at all. We won't win the game, but it would not surprise me at all if it's not I don't know, 17-14 game at halftime. Maybe they pull it out 21-14. 24-14. We kick a field goal, they get another touchdown, beat us 31-17 or something. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Wouldn't surprise me if we go there and play way better than what anybody thinks. That's what I actually think might happen.
And then there's that other part of you that goes down there and they just quit. When Georgia gets up and they go and they beat them 52 to whatever the score is, 52-10. I feel for some of these players. I do. And I'm going to say this, I see it sometimes on the field. The players are being put.
Thank you, Jonathan.
John. Some of the players I feel like are being put in bad positions. I think Boley, I love Boley. I think Cutter's a really good quarterback. But you cannot do like the receivers Saturday night. You got to give the guy a chance to throw the ball to him. You got to get open. And Boley was doing all he could Saturday night. I felt so sorry for him. He gets hit, ball pops out. Next drive, they have a pick six. Then I think the following drive, they had another pick, and they got a touchdown before halftime. And after that, it was basically over.
Josh, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't do this very often, but I turned it off on Saturday night. I watched Alabama, Georgia for most of the evening. I saw the two defensive scores, and I turned it. And that's hard for me. Y'all don't understand, I don't think, how hard it is for me. It's hard. But I don't support the dysfunction that is going on in Kentucky football. I just don't. The undisciplined, the unprepared, it's hard. And I am a guy who has always supported and really loved the job that Mark Stoops has done. I severely appreciate the run he had as the Kentucky football coach. I told John this week already, and I'll tell you guys. Outside of Paul Bear Bryant from 46 to 53, I don't think there's ever been a coach at Kentucky to have a run like Mark Stoops did. 2 winning seasons in the SEC, Fran Curry got close. I know a lot of people are going to say probably Rich Brooks. Rich Brooks had 2 8-5 seasons, won a couple of bowl games,
Beat
had some good
Clemson, beat East Carolina in the
had
Liberty
some
Bowl.
good, had some good bowl wins. Listen, a couple of them. I'm not knocking him, but Fran Curry went 10-1. Mark Stoops went 10-3 and won New Year's Day bowls. You decide.
Yeah, and to kind of back it up as we move on to volleyball, I did the same. I've never done it. I've always been pretty fair about my assessment of Kentucky football, but I had to turn it off. I can't watch like you said, Brad, a dysfunctional coaching staff like I seen Saturday night. I don't know what's happened, where it's went wrong, and I'm going to say this. I talked to a former player. He did not want his name mentioned, just because he, personal, private matters, but he played under Stoops. And he said that he doesn't have no idea what's going on here. He said, I don't know what's going on with Stoops. I don't know what's going on with the program. I don't know what's going on with this team. He said, but there's something that is not right, and it's something that's dysfunctional, and there's something that needs to be changed, whether that's a coaching change, whether that's cleaning house, bringing in new offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, kicking specialists, whatever, special teams. I thought the special teams played good Saturday night, but that was about the only time they played really good. But other than that, he was just like lost for words at why it's gotten so stale and bad. And that's coming from a former player. And you had former players, even though, Brad don't pay a lot of attention to it. I showed him a few pics from X that they're calling out all this mess. They don't understand it. Like, I think one of them was DeAndre Square. He was like, what in the world's going on? And Garrett Johnson was like, this is embarrassing. That was a former receiver under Stoops. Like, what has gone so bad that he can get to this point? And I don't know. I don't know how you change it. I don't know how you fix it. Don't know how to get there. All I know is just let the good times roll and just let the chips fall where they may, is all I can say.
All right, guys, we are going to move on from football talk. Before we go on to the next segment, though, I do want to talk about Home Field Apparel. Go to Home Field Apparel, check out some really cool licensed collegiate retro apparel, and get out some. I mean, they have some really cool like throwback jerseys, shirts, mascots, all kinds of things there. Check them out. CS Cast at the top of the screen here. I'm going to put up another QR code. If you use that QR code, it will take you to our link on homefieldapparel.com. And if you use that link and scan that QR code, we will get credit. There's some really cool Kentucky gear. If you're a Georgia fan or a Gator fan or anybody else with us tonight that has been here stopping by, your school is more than likely there as well. There's over 180 schools. There are a few that has not allowed Home Field Apparel to do their stuff yet. But I'm going to leave that QR code up on the screen as we move on to some volleyball talk, John. And the volleyball girls had 2 sweeps of SEC foes last week, Wednesday and Friday night, and swept Georgia. South Carolina, thank you. They swept Georgia and South Carolina on Wednesday and Friday nights. So they started out 2-0 in the SEC, and looked really good
They
in
did.
2 sweeps.
Brooklyn DeLay played really well. Eva Hudson played well. They led the way. DeLay had 14 kills. Hudson had a double figure night with 13 and 8 digs. They took set 2 and set 3. This is the first time since 2021 that the team has opened SEC play with a win, which is pretty impressive.
Yep.
They're 8-2 on the year.
Especially when they're the 8-time champs.
They're 1-0 in conference play. They beat Georgia on Friday. Now they got Ole Miss, number 6 Ole Miss, which is a big game.
They play Ole Miss on Friday night. It is an away game. The next 3 games are on the road.
Yeah, some of these are going to be tough, but I like this Kentucky team. I think they're really, really good. You know, they beat Louisville. They didn't have I felt like they kind of, dominated Georgia and Ole Miss, Georgia and South Carolina. I didn't feel like they really had any kind of competition, really, except maybe the Georgia game late. But I thought they kind of put South Carolina away. Now with the schedule coming up, I think it gets a little bit harder. You got Ole Miss. You're going to play teams like Texas, Oklahoma. It's going to get a lot harder in conference play once we get down the line here.
It is. The SEC has 6 ranked teams in the volleyball top 25. Kentucky is number 3. Texas is number 2. Those are the top 2 teams in the SEC, but there are 6 ranked teams. Missouri has a good team. Tennessee has a good team. Florida has a pretty good team, to name a few more. In volleyball, like I said, check it out. There are 6 ranked teams in the SEC this week. Last week too, I believe. And getting 2 home 3-set sweeps. When I say sweeps, volleyball plays 3 sets. First to 3 sets gets the win. So 3-0, they won both of these games 3-0. One person that I do want to give a huge shout out here that you did not mention. Friday night they played Georgia. I think it was Georgia. Is that right? Or they play South Carolina Friday? I think it was Georgia.
Georgia. They played Georgia
Friday night. Lizzie Carr had a great game. She is the middle block, and she had a bunch of blocks. She had 13 or 14 kills, and she's 6'6", by the way. And
I'll tell you another one that's playing about as good as anybody is Cassie O'Brien, the freshman.
Yeah, and she's a freshman. Yeah, and she's a freshman.
She's doing really, really well this year. So
Josh says, have a good night, man. Glad you're here with us, man. So appreciate you. Have a good night.
Yep, you too, Josh.
Yep. So check out the women's volleyball. They are doing great things. Like I said, Coach Craig Skinner is one of the best in the country. They won the 2020 national championship. They are trying to possibly win another this year. They played one of the toughest schedules in non-conference in the country. They played all 4 teams from the Final Four last year in non-conference. Went 7-2, I think, in non-conference play.
Nebraska, Penn State, was it Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh and Louisville?
SMU.
I can't remember, but they played all 4 teams that made the Final Four. Just like in basketball, it's called the Final Four. They played all 4 teams. They went 7-2 in non-conference, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe it was 8-2. It was either 7-2 or 8-2.
It's 8-2. They're
8-2. All right. Yeah. And had one of the toughest schedules. They have a bunch of great girls and like just really competitive, a lot of fire. They're fun to watch. All right, John, there was an announcement for Kentucky basketball the last couple of days. I don't know if you saw this, you probably did, but Pro Day was announced for October the 7th.
Yep.
That's been a thing since the early Calipari years here at Kentucky, and having pro days. It's a tradition that Mark Pope is continuing. And here at Kentucky, I mean, we are a leader for the NBA and NBA talent, and Pope is trying to keep it that way. I know in years past there was a lot of times that all 30 teams would be present at Kentucky Pro Day. Do you see that still being the case? Do you think that'll be the case?
Yeah, it's Kentucky basketball, man. I mean, just because Calipari left and went to Arkansas does not change the brand, does not change the name Kentucky. People are always going to be there. They're always going to have eyes on them, especially in, looking at our non-conference schedule. My God, you got even the exhibition games. You got Purdue, you got St. John's, you got North Carolina, Michigan State. There's going to be a lot of eyes on Kentucky this year, and we'll get into a little bit about the team and what I think is going to happen with them this year. And I'll let you continue on to what you got.
Well, so Pro Day is a big day for the players. I mean, they get to go out, they do all the stuff that they do at the combine, and people, they have interviews, they have scouts there, and they have interviews with teams. They do all the skills and all that work and the jumping and how, all the skill work. And then they run usually some 3-on-3, some 5-on-5s, and just have a big day in front of all the teams.
And I think 4 days ago, Kentucky announced tip times. You want me to give those out?
For all the schedule?
No, for 5 games. There was 5 of them. There was
Okay. Yeah.
Purdue is at 6 p.m. Eastern on SEC Network, October 24th. Tennessee Tech is at November 26th, 2 days before Thanksgiving, 7 p.m. Eastern on SEC Network. Gonzaga is at 7 o'clock, December 5th on ESPN2. December 9th is NC Central, North Carolina Central, 7 p.m. SEC Network. And December 13th is 7:30 on ESPN against Indiana, which should be fun having the Indiana series back.
Yeah,
and they said that there'll be more as they become available. So
yeah. So basketball is right around the corner. So if you are just one of those fans that are absolutely fed up with football, basketball begins honestly with Pro Day in a week.
It does. One day before my birthday.
Yep. It begins basically in a week. It'll be a week from tomorrow, I believe. And then I believe Madness is the 11th.
Yeah, it's the bye week.
And the blue-white game scrimmage is the 17th. So, we are within 3 weeks of like 3 different outings of UK basketball. I know Kentucky fans are going to be super excited about that.
Yep.
What does Wireman say? Okay, Wireman. All right. Put the bourbon down. Put the bourbon down, Wireman.
Yeah, put it down, Wireman. Oh.
Good old Kentucky bourbon working his magic right there.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
All right. I'm just messing with Wireman. Just messing, y'all. All right. All right. So Kentucky women's basketball, I want to give them a little bit of run here at the end of the show. Coach Kenny Brooks has done a fabulous job since taking over in his first year. He's about to begin his second year. I think this team can be quite a bit deeper than last year's team. And I also think that people are going to be surprised by Tony Morgan, the new point guard that's kind of replacing Georgia. She's different than Georgia.
And I think, too, with the girls, they're going to have a better bench. They're going to have,
they're going to go deeper, I believe.
Do they have – well, they might have an underrated backcourt, though. I really do. I think their backcourt's going to be good. I think their front court's going to be good.
I actually said that earlier, Wireman, that they could surprise and, hang fairly tough.
And, Tony Morgan is her first 3 years of college, she was at Georgia Tech. She played really, really well.
She's got a great first step. She can drive, get to the foul line a lot. Like she averages 10 or 12 free throws a game, probably. So, and then, of course, you got the triplets that they like to call themselves with Claire Strack, Amelia Hassett, and Tayani Key. They're going to be key. Those three are, pun intended.
Yeah.
they're
and the thing she is, Tony Morgan, kind of go back to her. She's a pass first point guard. She found a lot of success her junior year. She was the Yellow Jackets assist leader, second leading scorer. She's not a great 3-point threat, but she shoots the three. She had, I think, her first triple-double against Clemson this past year.
Talking about 3-point threat, don't be surprised if this team fills it up from 3-point line.
Yeah, she's really, really good, I think.
I'm not saying Tony Morgan's going to fill it up, but man,
I think too, everybody says
Joe Gilvin, you got Amelia Hassett bombing threes, the new girl on the block, the McDonald's All-American, KK Carroll can knock down threes. Tayani Key can hit threes at 6'4". Claire Strack's going to keep shooting them. She didn't hit a whole lot last year. A few. I'm going to say 8 or 10.
Well, and then you got Josie Gilvin. Coming in. You got Gabby Brooks is going to be there. Lexi Blue is another name.
Asia Boone is a good shooter.
I'm going to tell you, people forget about Jordan Obey. She'll be back.
Yeah.
And Perova.
Dominica Perova is going to be
redshirted last year. She had some injuries during the offseason. Now, whether all this turns into what, we expect them to be, I think Kenny Brooks' teams are going to play hard. I think they're always going to play hard. They're going to get after you. There was a couple of games last year I felt like they kind of let slip away in the, third and fourth quarters. Texas A&M, there's a few games that they should have won down the stretch, but, you can't go back and change things. You just got to get better. But I was kind of wanting to add to the men real quick. I'm always on the basketball. I feel like a lot of people don't realize how big of a year this is for Otega Owe, though. Kid gets his opportunity to go to the draft. He comes back. He gets a chance to, wear the blue and white for his final season. He's probably going to be top honors for SEC Player of the Year. You bring in Aberdeen from Florida. You bring in Diabate from Alabama. You get Jaden Quaintance from Arizona State. And I'm going to tell you something. Jaden Quaintance, when he gets healthy and he gets a chance to play, he might be the best player on the floor for the Wildcats.
If he can get healthy this year, yeah, I agree.
He's probably your best player overall, I think, because he can rebound, he can block shots, he can do a little bit of everything. My biggest questions, Brad, with this team is: will the defense improve? Will the 3-point shooting be there like it was last year? And another thing is, how is Ortega going to handle all this on his back? Because now a lot of people didn't know him last year. You know what I mean? Like they knew of him, but now you really know who he is. You're going to make the focus him of every single game plan. You know what I mean? Like you would a top guy like the Duke. What's the guy that played at Duke?
Cooper Flag.
Cooper Flag, a guy like him. He's going to be first team most likely preseason All SEC. He might even, like I said, be player of the year. There's a lot of expectations on this team.
Preseason polls.
There's a lot of pressure.
Preseason polls have not come out yet. I honestly would expect Kentucky to be no further down than like 6th in the preseason poll.
I don't either. I think you're going to have Louisville. I think you're going to have Louisville and Kentucky right in the 5 and 6.
Yeah,
maybe 6, 7.
Somewhere between 4, 5, and 6. I think that's where you're going to see Kentucky fall in the poll. On the men's side, on the women's side,
you're probably
on the women's side, I can see them falling anywhere in that 18 to 22 range.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
somewhere in that range. I think you'll see them fall somewhere in that range. It would surprise me if they were unranked to begin.
It kind of would me.
Now, SEC wise, on the women's side, listen, guys, South Carolina, Texas, and LSU are no joke. And Ole Miss, believe it or not, went out and hit the portal really, really hard. Their
Coach O ain't playing.
Their coach hit the portal really hard and is building something special there. And Tennessee, as much as we don't like it here at Wildcat Weekly, she's doing a good job there in her second year now.
On the men's side, I feel like it's going to be kind of even up at the top. You get Alabama. I know they lost one of their guards during the offseason from Miami, but they got injured. I don't know when he'll be back. That's a big loss for them, but they kind of plug and match a lot of guys.
So how is Stephen Pearl going to be able to handle that roster? Are they going to play as hard for, Florida is going to be right there. Listen, replacing some players that he did.
Well, he brought in Boogie Flan from Arkansas, which I think was huge because a lot of people thought Boogie was going to pro. He didn't get what he thought he would get into pro, so he come back to college. Arkansas is going to be good.
Those big guys are back at Florida.
They are. They're back. One team I think could have a step back, and I know you hate them worse than is Tennessee. I don't think they improved this year. I think they'll be good, but I don't think they just went out and done what they normally do. Like they don't have a Chaz McHarris.
If Arkansas can figure out the freshmen, they'll be good. If he can figure out, the problem is I think Calipari has been struggling with that the last 6-8 years, to be honest. I just don't feel like that he has put the freshmen in the best spots. I don't think he did it with Wagner, who is still at Arkansas. I don't think he did it with Dillingham. I don't think he did it with Reed Shepherd. I don't think he did it with Boogie Flan last year.
Ain't it crazy to think that DJ Wagner is still in college? As good as he was in high school.
Aaron Bradshaw's still in college too.
Yeah, he's at Memphis now.
Yeah. But Arkansas, have the pieces to be pretty good. It's just, can they put it together?
I know you're going to hate me for this, but the old coach Rick Pitino is going to have a heck of a squad this year. I know you hated me to say that, but that's just.
Look, he's a good coach. I have never said he's not a good coach.
I know you didn't.
Never said it because he's a great coach.
I'm just saying. And that December 20th matchup, there's going to be a lot of eyes on that game right before Christmas.
There is.
And and you even told me last year, you said that's not good for us because if he beats us, he's going to have an edge.
Right before Christmas. It ruined everybody's damn Christmas. Let Tino beat us.
Yeah. Hey,
come on, you're supposed to schedule this after Christmas, damn it. What the hell?
But to be fair, you'll be cramming your mouth full of pecan pie all over there.
Telling you right now, Mark Pope's all worried about his suit game. You better be worried about the basketball game.
Oh, goodness, Brad.
Just telling you.
Oh, by the way, I want to tell everybody before we get off here, Brad's birthday is Wednesday.
No, it's not.
It is. Happy early birthday. I think we're going to kind of skip tomorrow.
Yeah, I've got some stuff going on this week, so we may do our Big Fuss show on Wednesday night.
I have something for him for his birthday. I'm going to do something a little special for his birthday. So his birthday's Wednesday.
I'm turning 30 years old again.
And next week is my birthday, actually, Wednesday. So both our birthdays are on Wednesday. So I'll be 39. Can't believe I'll be 39. It's wild to think about, but
Holden, right?
Holden, yes. So
39 and Holden.
And then tomorrow night we get to watch a little baseball. Your Dodgers and my Reds. So
go blue.
Yep. And I kind of want to say this before we get off here. You didn't beat us last night. We ended in a tie.
What a horrible, come on.
Oh, goodness, man.
For real?
I know,
there's
right?
so much I could say about that game.
We'll talk about that on the Big Fuss show.
For real? First of all, NFL, you got to fix that crap. And Packers, I am so disappointed in y'all. For real.
You Packers almost choked it away, almost run the clock out at the end of the game. Jordan Love just about lost that game for you. Just saying. But all I got to say is go Redlegs. Beat them Dodger Blues.
I want to say this, since you're talking about the Reds and Dodgers. Can somebody please explain to me how you play 162 freaking games to fight your ass into the playoffs down to the last day and you only get 2 losses or 2 wins? You could go home in 2 days. After fighting for 6 or 7 months, 162 days, down to the last damn day, and you only get 2 games? If you lose and you're done? I don't understand that at all.
Yeah, it don't make no sense. But
we're talking about 162 games. How many? Kentucky basketball season seems like last 5 months, and it's like 35 games. 162 games. And you fight for 2 games. Woo! We made the playoffs. Good night. You made the playoffs, and you like blinked 3 times, and October 1st comes around, and your ass is already out.
Yeah, it's.
I'm not saying that that's going to happen to the Reds. It could happen to the 2 or 3 years ago. It happened to the damn Dodgers, and I was pissed off because they fight all season long. Had 100 wins or some shit. They got knocked out in the first damn round.
Well, and I think too, the thing with baseball is you have so many of these games, and you get down to like what the Mets and the Reds did, and you have to have one win and one lose, one lose and one win. Like if the Reds didn't lose yesterday, if they didn't win yesterday, and the Mets would have won, Mets would have been in.
That's what I'm saying. You fight down 162 games. You fight to the last damn day for 6 or 7 months. And your reward, you get 2 nights. And it's not even 2 nights in October. One of them's in damn September. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah.
Congratulations. You get a cookie. Your cookie is 2 days in the playoffs.
Well, if you think about it, the Tigers and the Yankees play. Who's the other one? Is it the Guardians? And I think they play the Blue Jays, maybe. But
I just don't understand.
The Tigers or the Yankees are going to be eliminated right out of the gate too. So basically,
I know it's so asinine to me for baseball. Yeah. That'd be like
Boston. It's Boston. My bad.
That'd be like basketball, NBA, 82 games and 1 game, and you're done.
Yeah. It's just a different sport, Brad. Baseball is.
But how do you put that much? You work on your body and your game and your craft, and you do this for 8 or 9 months out of every year, and you fight for 2 days? I don't know. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Brad just went on a random rant on the Kentucky basketball.
I did. You brought up baseball.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll be quiet.
I just don't get it when it comes to that. I don't. All right, guys. I'm going to wrap it up. We are on a Wildcat Weekly show here, so I'll wrap it up. We do appreciate you being with us. Hopefully, this week we will see some good news coming from Kentucky. Watch the volleyball. Like I said, we got the pro day coming up soon, and maybe the football team shows a little fight Saturday.
He says, "Dude, don't stand up straight. That fan going to lap your head off."
Yeah. Okay. I'll watch it. It's actually not even above my head, but it looks like it in the video.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Maybe it knocked some sense into you. I don't know.
I'm going to wrap it up. Y'all have a good night. We will see you Wednesday for the big fuss.
All right. Have a good one.